Okay, so we are going to start from back left, and we'll just go down the line, introduce yourself, your school district, and just a very brief summary on why you're running.
Okay. Me first or him?
You first.
Mary Kemper, I'm Bermudian School District, Latimer Township, East Berlin Borough. I'm running for a seat again. I'm currently on the board. So just wanted to make changes to the school, keep parents involved in everything. Transparency is very important in our district because it wasn't happening before. And keeping education what it should be.
Thank you.
Keeping other crap out.
Thank you.
I'm Michelle Smyers. I am a current school board member, and I'm running for my second term in Gettysburg. And it's become very apparent to me that I'm probably not going to change a whole lot in my school district because I really haven't changed a whole lot. But I'm gonna keep exposing what is going on for the parents and the taxpayers, because next to the kids being on top, parents and taxpayers are pretty important.
Thank you.
Melissa Anders, Upper Adams School District.
Can't hear you.
Melissa Anders, Upper Adams School District. And, sorry, I get really nervous.
It's okay.
You're good.
It's okay.
No worries.
The next question was why I'm running. I want to be a voice for our community. I'm a school bus driver for over a decade in our community, so I am very involved with the students and the parents. I have 3 students that attend Upper Adams that are my children. That's pretty much it.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Very good.
Jeanne?
Hi, my name is Jeanne Goldhahn. I am with Bermudian Springs School District, representing Reading Township and a small part of Hamilton Township. I originally ran for the board. I am up for re-election. I was elected in 2021, and I originally ran because I didn't feel like our voices were being heard. So I challenged and won, obviously. And it's been a huge learning curve and a great learning opportunity being on the board and being able to represent the parents, their rights, what they want, promoting education for the kids, actual education, trying to work with administration to improve curriculum transparency, overall board transparency, and trying to hold the line on taxes where we can. And I can get into that a little bit later. I think it'll come with some of the questions. But it has been a great learning experience, and I'm honored that I have been elected, and I hope that you will re-elect me again to serve you for a second term.
Thank you. Steve?
Yes, my name is Stephen Yerger. I'm running for the Littlestown School District. I was appointed 2 years ago, and I am now running for my seat. Littlestown School District composed of Union, Germany, Mount Joy, Mount Pleasant, and Bonnieville, thank you. And basically, you know, really wanting to have transparency, fiscal responsibility, and, you know, really communicate to the community and the parents, and most of all, to provide the best education we can for our kids.
Bruce?
On to me. I'm Bruce Wesbury. I'm running for the New Oxford Township, New Oxford Borough School District. I live in District 3. Right now, I'm the only candidate on for the primary. It looks like I'm going to have a challenger in the general if the teachers union gets their way. They're trying to put somebody on the ballot through a signature series. We'll see if that happens. Anyway, I've been married 41 years to a teacher that's just retired. She is working as a substitute in CVIS right now in New Oxford. And I'm basically on the school board because I've bought houses and moved 10 times in my lifetime in all of my jobs. Only one state had higher taxes for schools, and that's New York. The highest taxes states that I've had is right here in New Oxford, higher than California, where I moved from to here. I'm zero new taxes, boys and boys sports, girls and girls sports, all the normal stuff that's out there, and will draw the line on any type of tax increase, period.
Thank you. Jeanne?
I'm Jeanne Ewen, I'm with Middletown Area School District. I was on the board, I was elected for December 2019 to 2023, and it was pretty much all COVID, which, so we really didn't get to work, I really didn't get to work on what I wanted to do because everything was focused on just getting the kids in school as much as possible and all that other stuff. Then I did run again because I thought we were gonna have a really great board, which they all got in, but there are some that don't wanna work with the others, and so I was appointed back in October once someone quit, and now I'm on the ballot to do a 2-year. And my, just fiscal responsibility and academics are my big issues.
Thank you. And we'll just go in the same order. These are all yes or no questions. They're not like gotcha questions, but they're a yes or no. With parental rights and transparency, and we'll start with Mary. Do you support requiring schools to notify parents about changes to curriculum or policies affecting their children?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Will you vote to make all school board meetings and curriculum materials fully accessible to parents online?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
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 On curriculum and ideological, thank you, concerns, my tongue's getting twisted here. Do you oppose the inclusion of critical race theory or similar frameworks in classroom instruction?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely yes.
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 Same topic. Will you vote against teaching gender ideology or related topics in school?
Yes.
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 Absolutely.
Yes.
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 Fiscal responsibility topic. Will you oppose tax increases unless absolutely necessary for core educational needs?
Yes.
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 So you can tell this is a Republican format, it's not the Democrats because all of Do you support auditing the district's budget to eliminate wasteful spending?
Wait, who's auditing? Like our auditors or
No,
someone else?
no, having an independent, well, we could have Doge come in, right? We could have Doge.
That'd be awesome.
That would be
So
amazing.
so the question is, do you support auditing the district's budget to eliminate wasteful spending?
Yes.
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 School and safety, or school safety and discipline, do you support having trained school resource officers or armed security in school?
Yes.
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 No.
Okay.
Yes.
Will you advocate for stricter discipline policies to maintain a safe and orderly learning environment?
Yes.
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 Yes, with consideration of existing policies and how they need to.
Yes.
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 Okay.
Depending how, what you mean. That would have to be.
Educational choice and competition topic. Do you support expanding school choice options such as charter schools or vouchers for parents?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
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 Same topic. Will you push for policies that hold public schools accountable to parents and taxpayers?
Yes.
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 Again, this is, just a,
Good question.
thank AI for this. Teacher support and merit. Do you believe teachers should be evaluated based on performance rather than seniority?
Yes.
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 Shocking. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice.
Will you oppose teachers' unions' demands that conflict with student or parental interests?
Yes.
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 Now, this topic is local control versus state, federal mandates. Do you oppose federal or state mandates that impose progressive policies on local schools?
Say it again.
Do you oppose federal or state mandates that impose progressive policies on local schools?
Yes.
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 Will you resist adopting standards like Common Core in our district, because there are some districts that still have snippets of them in there?
Yes.
I oppose it, but we already have it.
We have it too. We
Yeah.
already have it too.
Yeah.
We've had it for years.
I don't know anyone.
So we can maybe reword that a little bit.
Enforcement
Will you
around
work
all
with
the
fellow
time.
school board members to remove the Common Core in your district?
Well, you see, it's state mandated though.
Right.
Yeah.
that's the thing.
So here's the,
Right. No, go ahead.
So it's supposed to be up to the board to approve the curriculum.
Correct.
Right,
The
okay.
situation is, in many districts, we don't see the curriculum, we're not part of the process. New at Bermudian, and I hope this spreads to other school districts, is what's called a CERA committee. That's where I delivered on the transparency promise during my campaign, that everyone can see the curriculum for the students. Parents can see it. There are now public meetings once a month that are scheduled and recorded. And it is discussed openly with members of the community, administration, and 3 board members. That did not exist when I was elected. And that came about, it's been about a year that this committee has been up and running.
So that was actually the second question tonight on that topic, where you all said yes to make all school board meetings and curriculum materials fully accessible to parents. Like ACTI, you're not part of that process. So maybe there's something that school boards can do to bring that process to the school board so it can be delivered to the parents.
some of that's a funding issue though. If
Yes.
it's state mandated and it's a
Mhm.
funding issue, or you get grant money, you have to do certain things. That's the problem.
The carrot on the
That's
stick.
earmarked,
That's the
yeah.
carrot on the stick, yeah. Okay, extracurricular and community values, the topic. Do you support policies ensuring sports and locker rooms are separated by biological sex? You can all just say it at the same time.
Yes. Is this the first time you are meeting me?
I know, I
Throw that out there.
We don't know how you.
know. But it has to be asked, you know, it,
I do not
Put it there.
want men in my girls' locker rooms,
100%.
bathrooms, or any other private spaces.
Yeah.
Period.
Period.
yeah, yes, good. Will you promote teaching respect for American founding principles in history?
Yes.
Maybe that is something the boards can, discuss as far as when they start pushing the curriculum out there.
The board
When you
needs to
guys
see
are,
the curriculum.
yes,
And we need to be involved instead of it being put to us, and this is what happened in the past, is that we would get the curriculum, here's what it is, 1 month, or maybe even, no, I think it was 3 days.
Or here's the course selection.
Yeah, here
And
you
it
go,
is
and we
50
would get
pages.
it 3 days before the board meeting. We had no time to look through, ask questions, because in a course of 3 days, we all have lives, we all have kids, we all have sports activities. When are we supposed to have time to do our due diligence? And that's where the curriculum committee, or in Berm's case, the CERA committee, gives people at least 30 days to get into that. And that's something every board
Just
should
as you
have.
say real quick.
Instead of
Go ahead,
being
Bruce.
You're on the board right now in New Oxford, I believe we do not have access to the curriculum, is that correct? Did you vote to get access to it? Did you have to rattle some feathers?
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay,
yes.
We have a civics class, so we at least get something for our kids.
I got you.
go ahead, question real quick.
You have control. If you have majority vote, you simply vote no on their curriculum and you demand the curriculum. You have
Yeah.
control. They can say to you don't, they can say you're not
Okay.
allowed, they can make up any damn thing they want to. Majority vote, you have control. Period. They have no ability to stop it with a majority vote. So if you want to take control of a curriculum, work with your other members, get your majority vote and take it.
Get it on the agenda, bring it up to the floor for a
And if you
vote.
don't, make sure people know that the majority doesn't want the curriculum known in the community, and then you can change the majority.
That's exactly right.
And that is why there are elections for school board every 2 years, so we can change the makeup, and hopefully some of the school districts will get a little bit like Conewaga Valley School District will get the leverage needed.
We need to see them.
Yes, yes, yeah. Okay, on response to external pressures. Will you stand firm against activist groups pushing progressive agendas in schools? And I know Conewaga Valley went through that a couple years ago, and Gettysburg.
They came after me. They came
Yeah.
after me. They didn't
Oh,
come after
wow.
anybody else. It was me.
Right.
And I.
So the question was, will you stand firm against activist groups pushing progressive agendas in schools?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
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 Okay. Same topic, do you commit to removing curriculum materials that promote divisive ideologies? And I don't think we need to go into any examples because we've been living it for quite some time with the indoctrination brick and mortar.
Absolutely.
Yes.
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 Okay. We're almost done with the yes or no questions. Student out, well, you know, this is where, like a Q&A form should be sent out to all of the school board members for them to answer the questions, so those voting for them can know where they stand on the issues that are important to them.
And we'll have people watching this also that aren't here tonight.
Right.
So this is good information.
Right, and yeah, some of these questions were sent to be asked. And a lot of these questions have been asked at public meetings. There are no answers that are given. Some candidates have been asked the questions, no answers have been given to it. And I appreciate everyone coming here tonight and doing this. Will you prioritize improving test scores in core subjects like math and reading?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Do you support tying administrator bonuses to measurable student outcomes?
I don't think we have bonuses. Do we have bonuses? We don't have
Are they?
bonuses.
Are there?
Not bonuses, there are raises.
I was gonna say, you have
Based
raises
on
based
whether or not
on.
they get.
The performance raises. Performance raises. All right, on parental rights and transparency, and this is not a yes or no, you can give your answer. How will you ensure parents have a strong voice in their children's education, including access to the curriculum materials and school policies? Who wants to take that?
Can I speak on that? Y'all need to come to the meetings.
Right.
You gotta come to the meetings, you gotta get involved, you gotta know how to navigate the website. Everything, at least on Littlestown District, the curriculum, everything, you can find it, it's out there, you can look at it. And when you come to the meetings, we have a first reading, we have a second reading, as we go through, come, make comment, ask questions, email the administration, email the board, and let us know your concerns so that we can really, you know, because we don't know, we don't understand, you know, because folks are just not participating, you know, really come to the meetings.
Anyone else want to speak on
We
that?
also, I know at Burn, we pushed for, more information to be put online, that the parents can actually go through what their kids are doing in the lessons, full syllabus, and if there's gonna be changes, things should be sent to the parents for like reading topics and things like that. But so parents can navigate the online learning, because I think once everything went online with COVID, a lot of parents weren't able to access stuff. And things were definitely given to children that the kids, or the parents didn't know about. So we pushed for more of that to be open online.
So when Mary and I and the rest of the board were working together
to improve transparency, we delivered by having a syllabus for every class, 7 through 12. They could see the materials, they could see everything. It's like a college syllabus.
Okay.
We also had more things available on the website, and then with the board, we created that steering committee.
Okay, now, actually, this is just a question that, I think 2 years ago, we may have touched base on this. There are 6 school districts in Adams County with, let's say, Bermudian Springs. You're doing something, passing policy that works really well. Is there a communication stream between Bermudian and other school districts? Like a bulletin board saying, hey, we're doing this and this is working really well, you should try this. Is there like a sharing of information?
I talked with one apparatus school board member. But no, I don't think there's anything
Officially,
publicly,
no. Officially, no, because your board would have to elect you to speak on behalf of their board. No one board member can speak on behalf of the entire board. So Mary and I both being here, we are here as individuals.
You're all as candidates.
We are individuals.
Candidates.
We are not here speaking on behalf
No.
of the board in any way. When you do any kind of public speaking, when you put an article in the paper, when you do anything and you represent yourself as a board member in any district, anywhere, you must say that you are there on your own behalf, or you are violating a board policy. And those are the rules, you gotta play by the rules.
But we could still call and say, I've got an idea, bounce stuff off you without.
But yes, we can
Any-
absolutely, I would think that's a great
That's
idea.
what I would
to
love
know
to
that
be able to-
network, but
right.
there's
Yeah.
already have a lot of that
I got it,
network.
right,
Yeah,
right.
There's nothing public.
I got you.
Right, so there's basically no communication between all of the school districts because we're all in the same county.
Not officially, no.
Okay,
Except for the superintendent.
except for the superintendents, yeah.
I just want to say, for the parent transparency, I've always wanted to do town meeting halls where we used to do that years ago, we haven't done it, so that we talk, but the issue in Littlestown, I think, is people are more like, well, we got Jeanne or Nick or whatever on the board, they'll take care of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So I don't know if anybody would show.
People are
They
checking
they
out.
really just think that we're just gonna take care of it.
Mhm.
So,
Fiscal responsibility, how will you prioritize taxpayer dollars to improve student outcomes without supporting unnecessary tax increases or bloated administrative budgets? Anybody want to take that?
I'll basically say that, I stated earlier that I don't want any new tax increases in New Oxford. We already pay very high taxes to even live there. There's some inefficiencies, I believe, in the school, some as psychologists, some as security officers in the schools. I said no for security officers in the school. My wife was teaching at CVIS, and it took me 10 minutes to get in, completely locked up. I couldn't even get in the door. And they've also been proven to be ineffective when they're in the school, because if we're in the school, they're just gonna go to another school that doesn't have an officer or something to that effect. So, but I'm against the tax increases. I want teachers to be paid on performance, period. Pay science teachers more than math teachers, or if they're doing much better, things like that, we can get that money out there. And I think there's a lot of inefficiencies within it. Once somebody were to get into it and really kind of break it down, I think you could really find some inefficiencies and really save a lot of money.
Anybody else?
I asked a question. How are you gonna rate a teacher on performance? How do you rate a teacher on performance?
That's a great question, and my wife's a teacher, and we've battled about it. Here's how you do it.
Because you could have the rottenest teacher in the
Yep.
world, and all the teachers are gonna circle the wagons and tell you how great he is.
Yep.
And you know he sucks swamp water.
Beginning of the year, you survey 100 students. The end of the year, you survey 100 students. And did they move forward? Did they move backward? Where did they go? Now, there's a lot of imperfections in there. The teacher's gonna say, well, I'm gonna have a special needs student in there. That's fine. That's gonna be part of your grade at the beginning of the year. At the end of the year, you do the same survey with those students, and did they increase their knowledge? Did they score higher on their test scores? The teachers union and the teachers are against any type of grading of teachers. I've been in sales jobs my entire life. If I don't perform, I'm fired. I've asked my wife numerous times when I ran for office in Maryland, and you ask teachers, are there bad teachers out there? And everyone you ask will go, oh yeah, geez, Sally. You know, there are bad teachers there, but
But you try to point them out, and then all of a sudden they're the same way.
they circle the wagons,
Yeah.
and that's part of the problems with the teachers union. They support horrible teachers, and there are some stories with the union that supported teachers that have done very, very bad things, and they say it's their responsibility to do it. But you take those same 100 students at the beginning of the year, same 100 students at the end of the year, and rank them. Did they learn? Did they not? Then we have a problem. There has to be a process to follow after that.
Okay, this is coming from a former teacher.
You'll have to speak up so you
Okay,
can.
from a former teacher, how do you measure a student's success? Because if you rely on state testing, the state testing does not hold students accountable. So when I was giving the students testing in 8th grade, most of them made patterns on their answer sheets and then laid their heads down and slept. And because there was absolutely zero accountability on that test. Nothing that is held unaccountable can be scientific.
Right.
And so that is the problem. I welcome administrators or anybody else into my classroom. See what I'm doing. By PSSA standards, I failed one year. However, I took a kid who'd been reading on 3rd grade level, and by the end of the year, he was reading 5th grade level. But according to PSSA, we both failed.
Right. And look, I'm not gonna be an expert on the testing. The testing's obviously done for the state's reasons. They wanna see what the results are. And I
Unscientific.
completely agree that everybody's gonna do something a little bit different. So how are you gonna be able to perform, or at least test those kids and figure out if they had increased? So they've invented this way to do it. And if that's the only way to do it, unless we can come up with a better way to test that, I'm almost at a loss to even be able to say.
Not a better test, it's a better accountability.
Correct.
Okay, so being that we're on this subject, because the next question would have been, how would you address concerns about teachers' unions influencing school policies or curriculum decisions?
He already answered that question.
Yeah. That is true. Jamie, you did answer that question.
Did you know you're running now?
I mean, ultimately,
How many more pages you
Oh,
my
no,
observation.
I'm not going through all this.
People on school boards in
We
the
are.
minority
We are.
don't use motions, they ask questions.
Right.
You make a motion, you have your ally, you probably got at least one ally, second the motion, now there's going to be a vote. And if the majority isn't allowing you to do what you think is right, there's now a vote where they have to be accountable to the public for voting in that manner. And then you use that the next time they're up for re-election to remove their backsides.
you
But
can't
again-
vote on anything that's not on the agenda.
Correct. You
Correct.
need to make sure that the board president.
Incorrect.
Sunshine law.
You can make motions as a board member. You were elected to participate, you can make motions.
Correct. You can
Right,
amend
but
you can amend the agenda to include something on the agenda as long as it does not pertain to money.
You can
What's
make a
the
motion
mess in nature?
that I want this on the
Yeah.
next agenda.
Yes.
You have
Correct.
the ability
But there are
do
ways to
this.
get it on there. Okay, so the next question, and then we're gonna open it up to public, questions. How would you ensure public schools remain competitive and accountable to the parents and taxpayers? Anybody want that one?
Repeat it one more
Yeah.
time.
How would you ensure public schools remain competitive and accountable to parents and taxpayers? You know, the statistics on the grades, it's all public information. So we know where or what school is, you know, how many kids are either, you know, failing or close to failing in certain subjects. That's not being competitive. You want a school district in the competitive area where that would be a school district that would be desirable for you to move and raise your family and put your kids in that school district. No one?
I mean, for
So
me,
how would you
it's-
ensure public schools remain competitive and accountable to parents and taxpayers?
I mean, for me, it's looking at their testing scores and are we climbing and improving with those? Or are they diving or just status quo? Are we trying to improve the education?
Because like right now, public schools, the brick and mortar is competing with the other forms of school.
Oh, the charter schools.
The charter schools and online, so,
And Bermudian has internal, they don't just go by the state, right?
We need to look at how to assess the kids, not just with the public testing.
Yeah.
Because on the day the PSSAs are the keystones, that kid could have had a really bad night the night before, there could be something going on in the background. The PSSAs, if you look at the trend, it gives you a picture, but if you look at that one day, you know, to your point, PSSA was failing where you did an excellent job working with a student, and probably many other students in just that one. So, built within a curriculum, there needs to be frequent assessments. And look at those assessments and see on whatever the administration and the board decide, because it's locally controlled, that you need to figure out how are we gonna look at these kids and assess them, how are the teachers gonna assess them, take a look at the overall picture of the scores, look at the trend of the scores, and then figure out collaboratively, what can we do to fix this as a board, with parents? You know, find out what's bugging the kids in classrooms. Is there something that's disrupting the classroom? Is there something that's upsetting you? Is there something we can help in the background? It's no one particular thing, because for each student, it's never one particular issue. There's a lot going on behind the scenes, behind the family doors,
Well,
and that needs to be considered
One of the things
with
that,
just one test.
one of the things we're finding is, a lot of kids, like, we'll have kids, our colors are gold and blue. And you can get a blue honor roll or gold honor roll. Our middle school had a lot of students that got honor roll, but then their PSSA scores are bad. So we're finding out a lot of them either don't take it seriously because they don't care, or they don't think it's a big deal, or they don't know how to take that type of test very well. So we're teaching them how to take the test. So we have to figure out, you know, what is our real issue? Is it that they can't take a test, they don't care about the test, or is it that our curriculum isn't strong enough? So that's where we are.
okay, so this young man here has been waiting patiently to
Jeanne
ask.
asked the question. Well, I'm from Littlestown. Okay, first of all, what do you guys think of all this new construction going on there? Considering the fact that the student population is gonna be going down in the future. And we're spending millions of dollars building new schools and big schools, and now they're talking about, I don't guess they have approved it yet or not, they're gonna tear down the middle school and build another middle school.
No,
When there's
no,
nothing wrong with,
That's not true. There's no building, we're not building a new middle school.
they've been
We're gonna
talking
sell-
about it.
No, I don't know who's talking about it, but the plan is to sell that middle school once we combine the middle school and high school.
So you've actually built another middle school up at the high school?
No, what happened was the prior superintendent wanted to close the middle school, combine, we're remodeling the high school to add the middle school there.
So basically, you've done a backdoor run, you've actually added onto the school that you have.
Right.
So you can tear down the school.
No, we're
because-
not tearing the school
Well,
down.
sell it
We're
or
supposed to
whatever,
sell it.
but the fact of it is, you
But-
spend a lot of money putting a new school in that we didn't need.
Well, this prior superintendent is the one that started all that, and his reasoning was, down the road, we'll save a lot of money once we don't have that other whole building to, have to pay for. That was his reasoning, that board.
It was flawed reasoning.
Well, I understand it, but the board back then,
Okay, so
went with
before,
him.
okay, before Steve chimes in, because I'm sure you want to chime in, just to let everybody know that previous school boards ties the hands of future school boards. That is why, okay, sorry, Steve.
So I was gonna ask, did either of you vote for that project?
No.
well,
Yeah.
the project was already approved before
By
I got
a
on
previous
right?
board, yeah.
So what I did, I had to vote for what did and didn't go into it, so, we kept a lot of the add-ons that they wanted to keep the cost down. So I wasn't part of those, votes.
But not the initial vote
But not
for
the-
the, yeah,
that
yeah,
was years
and
ago
neither
that
was,
started.
neither was Steve,
No. Yeah, I was appointed 2 years ago, all this was all done.
yeah.
I got a question.
Wait a minute, Jack,
If-
this gentleman's been,
Thank you. So,
Ste-
I'm
Steve,
trying to figure out who to vote for come May 20th,
What school?
okay? Gettysburg. I'm relatively new to the area. I have a ballot in my hand. Got it yesterday. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people listed for the Gettysburg Area School District. and only one of them are here tonight. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
So how do I interpret this? Either the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that did not show up, are they registered Republicans?
No.
Or not?
No.
Okay, well,
Therein lies the problem. If you
are
go
they-
on,
Are they a registered Republican or not?
right,
And if they're not, how come there are not 4 Republicans running for
Right.
Gettysburg School District?
That's a good
That's a good question.
actually, there are 4 Republicans running for Gettysburg School District. Now, Dave Seitz did say he was unable to be here this evening.
So Dave is a
He is
Republican.
from Gettysburg. Michelle obviously is Republican, and the 2
I'm
other,
the only one that did not cross file as a Republican.
right, there's,
I see
The
that.
other 2 are Donna Harrison and Justine Sieg.
those are the
Donna's a
4,
Republican?
those are the 4
I'm
Republicans.
sorry, who's the other one?
Justine.
Justine's.
Just so you know, you don't have to vote for all 4, you can only vote for one if you want to. Just throwing it out there as an option.
So there are 4 Republicans on the ballot.
Correct.
Thank you, that's what I needed to know.
Yeah, if you go to our website on the ACRC, it's adamsgop.org. The only candidates we have listed in each category are Republicans. We do not have, as much as a Democrat will tell you at the polls, I'm a Republican because I cross-filed. No, they're not.
Me.
Jack?
Just ask them when you vote today, which ballot are you getting?
Yeah,
Would you
you're getting,
all-
yeah.
Would you all be willing to begin to lobby the state legislature to change the education statutes which govern you as school board members to require that the annual budget be placed on the ballot for the public to vote it up or down, and certainly capital improvements such as the Littlestown mess be placed on the ballot for the taxpayers to say yay or nay.
Can I respond to that?
Yes, please, Steve.
You all are that authority as voters to go to your legislatures and your representatives, and you make your voice be heard. We as a board are a governing body. I mean, we're just doing school code, policy, procedure. 81 or 2% of what's doing is mandated, and the rest of it is governance to our input as a taxing authority or whatever happens to be on the subject of what you're doing. But you all need to get out there and hammer them and let them really see that what you want to see that change.
You want me to start putting Dan Mal in headlock? Yeah, he's a slippery devil, isn't he?
Are there any, Jamie has a question?
Yeah, so I went through and all except for, I think, 2 or 3 of the 2,612 questions, everybody answered yes to. So my question is, if you all get in, are you willing to network and work together and share best practices as to what you're doing to try to influence and change the majority of your board if they're not doing what you're saying? I heard somebody say earlier that, well, we're not allowed to talk about that because we're only one person. You absolutely are allowed to talk about it. Are you willing to work together to try to expand the majorities on all your boards by working to see, what are you doing that's working? How did you get this that I haven't been able to do? Or are you not willing to do that?
Unofficially, many of us do. But there's no official forum for us to share.
Don't need an official, right?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I think networking is.
It's essential.
Absolutely, but absolutely, because I would want to know what they're doing. Like, we don't have access to the curriculum, they do.
Yeah,
And,
so here-
little things like that, we really got to work together to say, how did you accomplish that?
When we went through COVID, we, Littlestown, like, led the field and we had other school districts in other states call us for what do you do? Tell us how you do it. So we have to do this on information.
Passing on information
Well, I
is different
mean-
than coordinating together to say, how do we change the environment that we live in to make it more to what we want, as opposed to what they want?
Well, the day is the parent, you gotta do it as a parent.
Now, they as the majority said opposed.
I can say my problem in Gettysburg is,
So you would be the teacher?
I'm 1 out of 9, and unfortunately, my board leadership sides with the administration so much that I voted no for the superintendent's contract. I voted no on the current superintendent's salary increase. I voted no on the business manager's salary increase.
You're well loved.
They hate my guts. And when we have discussions and, you know, somebody makes a motion, somebody seconds it, do we have questions? They look at me because they're like, she's gonna ask some questions, we know it. And I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I know I'm not gonna win this battle, but I'm gonna sit here and ask questions, even if I know the answer. I'm gonna ask questions because I know that the public is watching.
Right.
And that is why I had over 1,000 and something hundred, you know, questions that were all yes or no. So, so the public can see the answers to the questions.
But you also hope that bringing up issues is gonna get the right people to run. in the
Correct.
elections.
Yeah,
That's-
correct.
Absolutely.
Well,
That's
and-
what you need, or you don't have them.
The other thing is that, and again, thank everybody for coming here this evening and the participants. The individuals who thought about running, but they don't want to run, we need more people to step up because, you know, Fairfield, one Republican running up there, 4 positions, just one. And we need
I
more
would say
people
we
to
need-
have the courage, knowing that there are forums like this and that they do have people that will support them, and also having support from their neighboring school district. And you had a question, right?
Not so much a question, but a comment.
Okay.
Because I basically told you I didn't believe state testing holds kids accountable, and it's a lousy measure as to whether they're achieving or not. But if you have a curriculum that is approved and available to the school board, the administration, the parents, and everything, assessment for each of those courses should be included. And therefore, and the grading policy of each teacher, so that you know, those kids are being held accountable. That's why you have honor rolls that are high and state testing that is low. And you're never going to get the kids to perform in this state testing. They've known now for years, the whole way down to 3rd grade. It's not valid. It just isn't. They're not held accountable. That being said.
Yes. Are there any more questions?
Okay.
Okay, Nick has a question.
And I don't mean to pick on the.
You have to speak louder so it can be picked up.
From Conawago Valley. You said no on school security. Right. Is that purely financial, and can you go into a little bit more why?
Yeah, I just think I think that there's alternative ways to protect schools without having an armed officer in the school. And that's just kind of at least the way I feel. Now, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna be 1 vote of 9 to try to do it, but I think it needs to be evaluated. Like I said before, I couldn't even get into my wife's school that she was teaching at without about a 5 or 10 minute dissertation on the intercoms to try to get in. They're already locked down, they're already, I think in my viewpoint, very safe. And it's also a financial decision that we're making to do it. So I'm not saying the police won't be in there. I'm saying there's alternatives that we could do. There's locking mechanisms for doors. If they hit a panic button, every door in the school closes and locks. That's relatively inexpensive to have a cop walk around with a gun.
I can tell you that our security officer does a lot more than just walk around, and he intervenes in situations that have gotten very hostile. I mean, he does a lot, so it's not just walk around with a gun.
Yeah.
Ours as well.
I mean, if you look at the unfortunate school shootings across this country, your locks fail, your doors fail.
Or someone has the door propped.
You have, you know, security fails, and at the end of the day.
Inside as.
Yeah, once, at the end of the day, once you have, if you have somebody there that can be able to neutralize the situation and bring it to a safe conclusion.
But the only thing that I would say is, how many officers in the school have stopped a shooting? The answer is 0.
Well, you made the comment, they'll go to another school that doesn't have an officer.
There's 0.
So how many?
But I'm saying there's 0. So as much as you say that somebody's in the school, there's 0 police officers in the schools that have stopped a shooting. It hasn't happened. And then if the police force goes, they wait to go in because they don't want to get shot. So my point is, security of the schools is far much more than anything else.
And the most recent shootings where they have had police officers or officers in the school, they have stopped more deaths or injuries because they were there.
Potentially, yes.
If it could save one life.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
Are there any more questions? Okay, so you wanna make a closing statement, or anybody wanna give a?
I just want to mention something about taxes and how basic education funding actually works. We have a lot of unfunded and underfunded mandates from the state. The boards generally only have discretion over 10% of our budget because we are locked into teacher contracts, lots of other contracts to get the district running in all the districts. The reality is, for example, PSERS, the Public School Education Retirement, I'm drawing a blank on that. So for our district alone, we are gonna have to put out $4.7 million. That is 12.37% of Bermudian's budget alone. Now, the state will kick back half of that to us. So it's kind of inefficient, because why are we paying them for them to kick it back? When in the 80s, it was kicked that the state used to 100% fund PSERS. So back in the 80s at some point, they kicked it to the local districts. That raises the local tax burden.
And we can't do anything about it. You have
We
to
have
pay.
0 say, and it goes up. Lately, it's been fluctuating about the same. Right now, we're at 34%. The second unfunded mandate is cyber charter. Now, cyber charter is essential for parents' rights. So they have a choice where they get to put their kids. I advocate for that 100%. The problem is, right now it's a big struggle in the legislature. Do we support, do we do this, do we do that? They want a flat rate of $8,000 per student just for regular education. That basically would defund the cyber charters, because when you have a cost of, say, $13,000 per student and you subtract out transportation, that $8,000, you're cutting them off at the knees. And that's just essentially $13,000 for what
Aren't
Bermudian
a lot
pays.
of these schools that are offering the charter online
Some of
actually
them
from Arizona, from other states that are actually making money up here? And there are school districts that do offer that, but yet the parent can choose to go outside of that network to getting something that costs substantially more.
It's the parent's choice.
Yeah. But there's a choice to do it in-house, or let's just say in the county, within the school district, but they're going off to getting those resources from another state.
So regardless,
Something
they
to look,
Bermuda-
yeah.
like some of the schools have their own online.
Yeah.
Right, we have our own online.
Right.
Bermudian does.
But not everybody
I think
uses Gettysburg does.
Gettysburg does.
Correct.
doesn't
Right.
So even still, we pay so much, and what the cyber charters will do is they will just say, okay, student, we see you may have some special needs, and then bump up that cost of tuition twice. So right now, it'll be, I think, $13,000 for special education, and that Bermudian pays $1.9 million for cyber charter alone. The third major unfunded mandate is special education. We pay, the number was 4.6 million budgeted for next school year. We are estimated to be reimbursed 1.4 million. That's approximately a 30% reimbursement, that we have 0 say. So that is a 70% local tax burden. So as much as we try to hold the line on not raising taxes, our hands are tied.
So
Because
this
right
goes
now,
back-
just for Bermudian, We have a $38 million expense for our budget. We have 36 million in revenue. Just with the cyber charter alone is 1.9 million. Piecers is 4.7 million. Every year, if the state, per the Constitution, which has already been determined, would fund us at our 50% that is required instead of the 38 to 40 that we currently are getting, that would solve a lot of the tax issues, and we wouldn't need to raise taxes.
So this goes to what Steve said, is that it's up to us
Many people, this has
to
been a
go to
huge-
Harrisburg, yeah.
This has been a huge learning curve. Parents need to get people, taxpayers, we need to get them, one, to pass the budget on time. We passed the budget in the blind. The state budget hasn't been passed. Last year, was it passed on time? Was it? It was after June.
It was after.
Well, I know it wasn't passed on time, but the first year for Governor Shapiro, it wasn't passed until April. We're supposed to pass our budgets by law. They don't pass their budget on time, but we're supposed to make a budget in the blind. That's not how this is supposed to work. So I am encouraging every taxpayer, get out there, start advocating for yourselves, for your taxes, so we can be 50% reimbursed like we're supposed to. What happened to the Basic Education Commission, the funding commission?
Okay, we're gonna, anybody else?
Just real quick, the Homestead Farmstead Act,
Mhm.
everybody should really be familiar with that, apply for it, it's money laying there, and you should take advantage of it. Every district, you know, all of Adams County, and please look it up, you know, knowing what it's about, find out Homestead Farmstead, it can offset some of the burden that you have to pay as a taxpayer.
Yeah, we don't always have a choice, it's not, we didn't raise taxes for 2 years in a row at Byrne. My first year on board, we didn't raise taxes, but we have to pay our teachers, we have to do things.
Anybody else wanna make a closing statement?
Well, as far as she's talking about taxes, I mean, I agree, it would be nice if the state would kick in what they're supposed to, but let's keep in mind, the state, you know, federal government, they don't make, create, build, manufacture, anything. So all the money that they're gonna reimburse you is still your tax dollars anyway.
Right, yeah, right,
Right.
All right, so we do have, can you go get Nick, so he can make a statement for Jeanne? Unless you wanna just make comment about Janelle not being able to be here, cause Nick's on time.
Janelle Ressler is another candidate running for the school board at Littlestown. She had a family emergency, and she couldn't be here tonight.
And,
Diana Knapp also could not
Okay.
make it here due to some work obligations.
so we would have had a larger turnout, but things do happen, and,
Matthew Lusting,
Yeah, I do.
but he did write a statement.
Yeah.
He wrote a statement and
Go
sent it to me. I am not transgendered, it says I am, my name is Matthew Lusting.
Maybe think it for a minute.
But, to give you a little history on Matthew, I was his 8th grade English teacher. And when I first met him as an adult, he said, was when I was passing out Republican flyers at the polls, and he said, "You're conservative." And I said, "Have been all my life." And he said, "I thought you were a flaming liberal when you were." And I said, "Well, then I did my job of not letting you know." But he did write a statement, and it said, my name is Matthew Lustig, and I am a Republican candidate for Upper Adams School Board. I am a longtime Upper Adams resident, husband to my lovely wife, and father of 2 wonderful children. I'm also a conservative Republican and have been my entire voting life, which at this point is roughly 30 years. Oh my gosh, I must have tolerated. I was only 15.
Yeah, you should have.
Some of you may have met me over the years at Republican events or campaigning for Republican candidates. I have decades of experience working in education, and I understand well the type of challenges and decisions that school systems face. I believe that our school system should offer students a quality education and that should respect the rights of parents to guide the personal, political, and religious beliefs of their children without interference or indoctrination from the school system. Please be aware that a number of Democrats have cross-filed and are running in the Republican Upper Adams primary. I regret that due to a prior family commitment, I am unable to be with you this evening, but if you are an Upper Adams resident, please turn out on May 20th to vote for the actual conservative Republicans who are running. To find out more about my campaign or to spread the word to other residents, you can follow my campaign by searching Facebook for Matthew Lustig, Upper Adams School Board candidate. thank you for your consideration.
Okay, and all the questions, again, going back to the yes and no questions, Janelle would have been 100% lined up with everyone here.
So would Matthew.
Yes, so would Matthew and the other candidates that could not make it tonight. And again, if you go to the website, just Republicans are listed. In Conewaga Valley School District, we did put something out on social media yesterday or the day before on a PAC that is supporting a candidate who is going to
Lose to Bruce.
That's our.
correct,
Right.
good way to put it, yes, lose to lose. Thank you all so very much for being here tonight, and this will be uploaded on the Facebook page and on YouTube, so you can refer anyone to go watch it. But again, thank you. Thank you. And before everybody goes, I would like to have Tyler come up just to say, come up. Yes, you're all done. We'll give Tyler, thank you.
Little Terriers.
Well, yeah, thanks everyone for that wonderful bit of information. My name is Tyler Seaman. I'm the local chapter chairman for Young Americans for Freedom at Gettysburg College. And I'm coming to all of you to talk tonight about what Young Americans for Freedom is. And it's actually very topical tonight because this was your school board meeting, and we actually have middle school and high school programs. I am not personally involved in those programs. They're run by our national organization, Young Americans Foundation, which is a 501c3 nonprofit. And so, we don't campaign, we don't endorse candidates. I might go and do some door knocking in my own personal capacity, but we do like to work with our local conservative organizations, or just conservatives locally where the law allows. And so I am here to encourage you all to go to yaf.org, research our middle school programs, research our high school programs. I would say that conferences, there's a lot of travel opportunities. They do come with a small cost. But I will say that the National Foundation is very generous. I personally have received, we'll say, large amounts of money in aid and things that I have not had to pay. There's a lot of travel involved with that. But one of the questions was talking about, are you going to preserve American values? Are you going to combat DEI in schools? Are we all going to agree, to keep men out of women's locker rooms? And so, of course, a lot of that starts with the school board holding strong, passing the right bills, so to speak, setting the right tone, setting the right rules, but also the education of the children as well, and their own intrinsic desire to be good citizens, to be good Americans, to be involved with their communities. And Young Americans for Freedom really does do just that. And as I said, at the chapter level, like in the local, like if they're gonna go do a project at their high school, do a project at their middle school, it's no cost. That's all free. There is like a high school leadership conference. They have middle school expeditions around the country. I have never paid for travel. It's on a reimbursement program at the college level. I'm sure it works the same way at the middle school, high school level. They want to get those kids involved. Most things are ranging from either like registration fees from like free to maybe $100. I would say average is probably 20, but they have ways to waive that. And yeah, it's just been incredible. To tell you a little bit about the history.
30 seconds worth it?
30 seconds. Founded in 1960 in Sharon, Connecticut. The founders, including William F. Buckley, signed the Sharon Statement to get young people involved in the fight against international communism. But of course, today that manifests in neocultural Marxism. And they own the Reagan Ranch out in California, the Western White House, where Ronald Reagan signed the largest tax cut in American history. They also own the Reagan Boyhood Home in Dixon, Illinois, which I had the wonderful opportunity to travel to this semester and had a wonderful time. They have a Capitol Hill townhouse as well as their national headquarters in Reston, Virginia, which is a suburb of Washington, D.C. It's in Virginia, but it's like right around there. But yeah, I would encourage you, yaf.org, yaf.org, look at those programs, and
And
back to
see
Charlotte.
Jamie, he has a sign-up sheet if you wanna get
Yes.
on Tyler's
Email.
email
Oh,
update
good, I'm
list.
gonna sign up.
I'm a Tyler groupie, a YAF groupie. So
Yes.
We're looking to basically show support for
Yeah, I
Young
was-
Americans for
Yes.
Freedom in the
This
community.
is our future.
This can give you an email address to them so that they can let you know when they have presentations. Scan Lewis's call, you can go and attend and support.
And I also wanna thank William from HRCC
So you can have a
for coming this evening.
I run the college shop here.
So much. Thank you,
They
everyone.
they like that when I was
Yeah.
Is the market free?